Hi, so we're on tab InDesign Lesson 4. This is week 3, and we're going to start with a little bit of your book layout, but this will be your final book. This is the 10 graphic designer book. So last week you did all the research. Go back and look at the video if you didn't get a chance to do that. That is in InDesign Lesson 3. Gave you a whole week to do research on it. So write a little bit about 5 different designers from the 10. Do an inspiration piece from 5 of the 10 designers. And then find images from each. This part you're going to not only collect all the research that you have, but you're going to design a book from it. It will be due for feedback this Saturday. You can put it on your Dropbox and you'll have to package it. I'm going to cover the cover. This is the title that you should have on it. There will be a title page and a spread. So I'm going to show you exactly how I would do it, but I really want you to be creative on this and design the book the way you would want. Design the art book pages with color. Think about scale. Think about image, rhythm, composition, and layout. This is really a time for you to get excited and play around with type and layout. You're going to create at least 20 pages. There are 20 graphic designers, so if you did the copy about them, and I'll show you, and some images, then the other page might be a spread of the inspiration. I do challenge you to maybe do an inspiration piece for every single one of them. It's a kind of a fun exercise to do. Alright, so that's what's due for this. Again, remember to please make sure you have everything set up and finished for this part. Make sure you've downloaded the text. This is a peek of my book. So this is the text that I created for you to read, and then you want to Google this designer and look for maybe this is one of the pieces. Look for the art. Make sure you've read over everything so that you're really ready to design for it. So again, we're using the folders that I've had you guys set up throughout the whole year, which is now the InDesign Lesson 4. You have your statements here, so this should be a PDF or Word document. If you like Word, have it saved, all of your 5 statements. And then this is the text that is located here. The actual book in progress, and then all of your images. So you see I have the first one on the list, Alan's information here. I have my inspiration image, which I'll show you in a minute, and then a few pictures that I found of his work that I want to put in my book. I have my cover. You can create your own cover image, and then I have an EPS for my cover. So when I did the Photoshop image, I didn't save the PSD, but I did save the TIFF of it. You just need to save whatever file is actually in the book. It's not necessary that you save all of the Photoshop files. You can put the Photoshop files in. I just preferred a TIFF. Alright, so that is what I expect you to have for all of the designers. So there should be 10 of these folders. In each one of these folders you should have their images and everything I just said. So this is my inspiration, and this is the art or the design pieces from Alan's work. All in Lesson 4. So everything's ready so that when you start making your book, you know where it is and where it's located. Okay, so I'm going to keep my copy handy, but I'm going to first show you how I explored creating this. So I got creative in the image of the front of the book. Here's the 10, and here is the name of the book. Inside, I kind of duplicated the image for that one page, and then I have my name, the name of the book again, and then the title. And I did some design aspects for the titles. And my page numbers also has a little design element. So don't be scared of changing these formats and creating these unique little moments with your type. And this is what I did for the actual book. I might want to change this yellow to kind of stay within my yellow look. Might be too hard to see. So we'll undo that. So you gotta experiment and see what it is. Maybe it is good if I did it yellow but then increase the size of it. So this was just a quote that was in the book, in the article that I kind of pulled out. And this is what I mean by be a little fun and creative in your layout. But still, have fun with it. So we'll get into grids and making sure you stay with the grids. I can see that this was a little off the grid. Everything should be lined up. So yes, you can be playful and fun, but I think it's important that you stay within a grid element while you're making these creative interpretations. And this was my image inspiration. So I didn't quite change all the elements. So the first thing I did was I came up with the image and I put the copy in. And I wanted these to be a little bit different. This type is 150 and this is 55 with the leading 50. This doesn't have leading really on it or necessary. It could be 6 if you want, because I don't have anything underneath it. It's on its own type box, so I could put it anywhere I wanted to put it. And this is an Illustrator file, and then I colored the box with yellow. These elements I'm going to make sure that I keep in with my paragraph styles, so I can use them at any time. So if I wanted to somehow use the large type again, I can grab it. I changed the color before, so I need to go back actually and change the color of character. But I'm not going to do that right now. Just leave it at the gray. And then this should also... So remember when I was talking that the plus means that something's not right? So you can always do apply, cover, clear overrides. So it was, I changed it manually to white when it was created in the paragraph style as gray. And that's why that plus keeps coming up. And then you can find my image in links. And it's important to make sure that you have all your links. So I have the cover in here twice. And I do have missing links, so I'll show you how to make sure your links are set up. And then after this, there'll be one more file where I'll start at the very beginning and kind of put these pieces together. So you're going to see two portions of this. One while I'm kind of working on it, how I adjust it, and then one literally putting each piece together. But then I really want you to go with it. Choose what you want to do, come up with interesting looks. Design it any way you would like. I highly recommend that you stay within some grid format, but I think I would like you to have fun. So this was recorded. I know that it is selected in my links and that my paragraph styles are set. So this is set and this is set. Alright, so here is just the image. Again, I can check to see if my image is linked properly. And it is. It doesn't have these question marks on it. And then we move over a little bit quieter page and a little crisper. I'm going to have 10 of these names listed and their page numbers. So it'll be enough on this page than to do too much. This element's kind of a nice um, back and forth of a clean white and then a small image. So here I changed this, and this is a different paragraph style that I did, and I called it header. And in the header I made it Baskerville, and then I did semi-bold. So I want you to kind of stay within the type. I'll have the type listed on in the tab for you. So I chose Baskerville. You probably don't have Baskerville, but you have Garamond. Some of you have, you have Time, you have Arial, and you have Helvetica. So I'd like you to stay within those typefaces, but you can choose any of the styles within that typeface. You can also play with size and scale, leading, tracking, color. So I made sure all of them were black, but I could have picked yellow for it. And I think this one I added an underline option. Nope, I didn't. So that is, anytime I wanted to do a header throughout my book, I can always refer back to it's all set up. So this is my subheader. And in my subheader, I did a couple of things. This is where I put the underline. So again, it's Baskerville regular. I made it a little bit larger than type size. And when I mean type size, I mean body copy. What you're actually reading isn't 13 points. I set it at 11. Leading, optical, and then these are normal. I did add underline with it. I thought it would be a fun and interesting way to add a design element. So I checked on the underline. I put a weight on it, so it's just these points. So it could be really skinny or really fat. So I did 8. I could have changed it to do different kinds of lines, but I just wanted a solid. And this will follow that type anywhere I want. I could offset it and make it go more on it or more off of it. So let's see what it looks like when I change it. So it's kind of going up a little bit more or down a little bit. So I could make it go down or I can make it go up. And then I kept this as body copy. So this is going to be the same. I do want to change these to italic here, which I can do in character styles. Below again is also body copy. And then I have here kind of the same look as the title. And I might want to change it so that it's not as... Either I can go up in size, maybe better to go up a little bit larger, so it is a different hierarchy. And then maybe I'll do the outline. So this is just a train of thought that you have when you start designing. Like this, do I like that? What's my hierarchy? What do I want to use for playful elements to guide the viewer down and through it? So I didn't save that page number. I wanted it to be a little larger in size. Gotta pull this all the way out so I could see the... Okay, and then I wanted the outline to be a little more beefy. And then hit OK. So it's a little bit more going on than up here. Now these are all the elements I need. I have my header, which is available anytime I need it. It's already set up. I have a title page. I have my body copy. And then I have more body copy, and then I have all of my page numbers. Usually a title page is the best way to kind of set up all of your information. All of the type styles you're going to use for your whole book. I did also, like I said, set up number, a large number. And then this I called the cover title. So after I've done that and kind of decided what styles I want, I will start working on my layout. So you can see here I took the subheader, got the same line underneath. This I made sure is body. I should have made sure it's body. Copy. And I put this as my statement. Now if I wanted to do something to highlight my statement, remember I could go to character and add it as a different color. So I'll leave it right there. It's not the brightest. It might be hard to read, but I have it as a different color. So this was I made this area available so that if you were going to write for Alan, you would be able to have that paragraph ready to submit into your section. So I would make it clear that this is your handwriting. This is your idea of the designer compared to what was provided. This is all provided. So the distinction for me would be I would color my statement and leave the paragraph that is provided the black. And make sure that you don't have weird spacing, because when it comes in text flow it can sometimes be weird spacing. There might have been a paragraph somewhere in there. So next, I pulled like a little part of the text, and I know I changed the size, but what I can do to keep it all in the same look is I can change it to this size, or I can even do the size of the number. So the size of the number isn't bad, or what's the page number? You could do that. So I'm just trying to keep it within the standards of what I already have. So I think I am going to keep it to the cover. And then maybe change the color. So I might want to make an option in here to allow me to have yellow. And make sure you name it so that you know what you're doing. So this one was yellow and this one was orange. I'm going to do blue. So this here. Alright. And if I wanted to change the number, I could just go to blue and select it, because this is just adding unique style to something, but your paragraph is where you set up everything. And then this is the information of the book that was provided for you of the art, and here's the work. And then the back page, I did a full spread of my interpretation. But I didn't make sure that I changed the number pages. So I'm going to go and change the number pages now. So I go to paragraph. I called it out number pages. And in the number pages, I took out that because I thought that just the yellow was enough. Alright, so that's after you're kind of seeing the beforehand. And then I named this my image inspiration. And that should be body copy. Just like this should be body copy. So make sure they're all linked together correctly. Alright, so that's how I did it. And I used a grid for it. So we can talk a little bit about my grid in the next paragraph. So I lined everything into a grid to make it more functional and easier for me. to design in. So the numbers are on the first columns. These should be locked into the grid too. It's just so much easier when you have a system to kind of produce the look and design and feel of the work. So you can see that I have everything really in a grid. So this is a 6th grade column. I put plenty of border around. And I made sure I had bleed. So this is where the bleed comes in. So again, you do not have to do this look. I would stay with a 6 column grid at first, but this could be moved over here, or you have this in more of a column way. Missing the number 10, so it should be the same title as your cover. But we can bring this to more the subhead, or we do header. So these can both be header. See how easy it was to just kind of switch it and make it look right? So now I know that I can do that. I could put this here. Like, you really have a lot of options when it comes to the grid. So I think it's really important to think about how you set up your grid for your book. And then this could be in this column with the list of all the names. So a lot of different ways you could do it. This could be bigger, this could be smaller, this could be bigger or smaller. You don't have to stay with my setup. Just kind of figure out what setup works for you, and then you continue on. One more thing I want to cover is making sure that these images are linked. If you keep them in the right folders and next to your image, you should always be in a good place. So we go to links, and I've selected it, and it tells me this is the one. And there's a cloud one, so it's saying it's located in the cloud, but it's not. A link, and this directs you where it is, so this directs you back to that. This gives you information about it, and this takes you to the original format. So we want the linked one. And I can go to my folder, I know exactly where it's located, and then I pick cover 2 and I open it. And sometimes it'll select all the ones that are still in the folder because it is linked already once it knows where the folder is. Alright, so that's kind of how I put my book together. You can go ahead and create your book. Try to keep some of the suggestions I have is make sure you keep your text boxes within the grid. Would be helpful. And it's good to kind of keep them close to your type. This is going to have a lot more copy. But don't have it kind of falling off the page. I think I have it here like that. And I can just have it really tight against the copy. But you see, I still have it linked on the grid. It starts there and fits diagonally through. And it's always good to make sure you don't have unnecessary not folders, but boxes or copy that doesn't belong there. So here's some other options I had. So here's the copy here. This could be a quote you pull out. Here's your statement. And then these could be image boxes. And then this could be your interpretation. I put numbers here to number, this is number 1 of the designers, number 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10. It's a nice way to have a design element So think of it as maybe a design element, like where could you put that to just help be playful with your layout and change it every time. I mean, maybe it doesn't belong here, maybe it belongs on this page. So I have it here, and then the next page I put it over here. So there's so many ways you can format these looks. I would probably put your inspiration as one full spread. I think that would be your best bet. Alright, I know this is a long video, and I'm gonna do one more that kind of shows you how to lay out the pages. This one was more for you to just watch and kind of look at my process of how I kind of thought about putting things together. Remember, I really want a creative take on this, of what you would like to, how you would like to design it, and how you interpret the designers.